Each person's story of generosity is unique, and we all have those who have taught us what it means to be generous. I come from a family that taught me what it means to be generous. I've learned so much from them. Also, we find that generosity takes many turns in our lives. And so today we have a story of generosity, Clara's journey, and we're thankful, Clara, for the way God is working through you and for the story you have to share today.
I want to share this story because this is an ongoing story. It's my testimony. And we want to start at the beginning of this year. When Reverend Dwayne and Reverend Kathy asked if I would join the MCCDC Pathways to Generosity team as a prayer supporter, I had questions, but my answer was yes. My role is to create prosperity prayers using different quotes to share with the church congregation and friends. One day, Reverend Dwayne emailed me a quote that Henri Nouwen had written about money in relation to God. His quote reads that those who need money and those who can give money meet on the common ground of God's love. What? My first thought was, how can I address needing and giving money as meeting on the common ground of God's love? Growing up in a small town, I'd often heard my parents and other adults say, there is not enough money, or money don't grow on trees, or money is so hard to come by. Like a dry sponge soaking up water, I soaked up those sayings as if it was the absolute truth. After all, the many missed meals, hand-me-down clothing, and second-hand shoes indicated that my family was very poor. When I became an adult, I realized that I had developed a poverty mindset which had grown into a monstrous stronghold that held me tightly in its grasp. I had read that some prosperity books say repeating positive affirmations can help a person to change. So I started repeating prosperity affirmations. But the poverty mindset was so ingrained that it was difficult to let go. Feeling discouraged, I slipped back into the attitude of not having enough. No wonder money remained scarce. Several months passed and it looked as if nothing was going to change. I needed God's help because I was unable to let go of this of my own will. Looking back, I remembered how Mom used to pray to God to help her out of tough spots. God, help me to release and let go of this poverty mentality, I prayed. I also began reading and repeating Hebrews 11:1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. There were still times when I'd get frustrated and thought that it was no use to keep on trying, but I continued to read and repeat Hebrews 11:1. After what seemed like a very long time, I began to sense a glimmer of hope. Determined to be grateful for all that I possessed now, I began embracing a different attitude about giving and sharing. When paying my bills, I wrote thank you in the check memo fee. It was a hard thing to do. It felt like I was pinching pennies to accomplish what needed to be done. If there was a disagreement over a purchase or over a service rendered, I made an effort to be courteous and polite with the service reps. But as time passed, I started noticing that there were some money left over after bills were paid and necessities were taken care of. I shouted praises to God and celebrated with a Burger King double cheese Whopper my way, a large strawberry milkshake, and a large order of French fries without having to pinch pennies. Next, I made a commitment to become a cheerful giver and started paying a tithe of 1% and giving $1 in the offering every Sunday. I had to start where my heart could release and not worry about where the other was going or what I could have kept it for. By the grace of God, it has increased from there. I am thankful to give and share of time, talents, financial gifts, and treasures with God's beloved community. I pray to always meet on the common ground of God's love with praises and thanksgiving. Galatians 6:9 says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." Releasing strongholds is part of my faith-building journey that keeps on evolving, and I must continue trusting God and persevere through the processes of change with patience and endurance. Amen.